All right, everyone. Welcome back to Downloadable Content. My name is SJ.
I'm Alex Herschel. Today we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to talk about console loyalty and whether or not you should stay loyal to a brand.
Let's get right into it. Herschel, Herschel, Herschel. Alex, it's a fine day outside.
It is. It's been actually like staying consistently warm recently, and
Yeah,
that's actually very nice.
it is. Means a lot of growth for my grass. I've had to mow twice. I was telling you earlier about I went to get gasoline for the lawnmower.
Hmm.
Last time I got gasoline for the lawnmower, I was using my old canister, and I came home, and then the entire car smelled like gasoline, and it was awful. It was awful. It took so many hours of cleaning and scrubbing and soaping and everything to try to get the gasoline smell out. Eventually I did, but I was never going to make that mistake again. So I bought a new canister off of Amazon, used that one. It doesn't leak. It's fantastic. And I'm going to use that to fill up the gasoline on my lawnmower.
See, I'm a huge fan of the smell of gas. Like I legitimately love going to the gas station because I love the smell of gas
Oh, I
being.
do too.
But like in an enclosed space like a car, that's gotta be just
Yeah, I'd rather not die
headache
from
central,
gasoline
man.
fumes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
bad. It was bad. What have you been up to?
School. We're getting into
I
finals, so
I feel
it's
you.
it's it's that time. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
completely honest. Since the last time that we recorded, I have not played a single second of a video
Oof.
game.
Well, hey,
So
at least you just plowed through Red Dead, and that review is up on Patreon if you'd like to listen.
yep. We have Before we get into our question of the week, we actually have an announcement to make. And SJ, I will let
Yeah.
you take this one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, based on a really good question posed by Jonah, his question was, so what's the name of the downloadable community content? We need a name. And there were some ideas raised, and to be honest, I liked all the ideas. They all sounded good. We talked about this. I talked about it with our podcast mascot, Moroni, right here. She seemed to like the flock the most. So you will all be known, we will all be known as the flock moving forward.
Yeah. So there you go. We know that you were very, very passionately awaiting our response to that
Mm-hmm.
question. So
Mm-hmm.
there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And our question of the week comes from Walthorn, who asked, "What retro game consoles?" Ooh, sorry, I didn't have it pulled up. I want to
Do
get
you
it.
still have?
Do
Bonus,
you still
which
have?
ones?
There you go. So I actually do not own, like individually, personally, any any consoles that are not current gen consoles. Now, my parents, there is still an N64. There is a GameCube somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Wii. There is a Wii U. Um, there is an Xbox 360. There is a PlayStation 3. There is many, many, many DSs, probably too many DSs. Um, there is a PSP. There is a Game Boy Advance, and I do believe that that is it on our end.
Don't you have your own DS?
Technically, yeah, but I don't
It's
have
just
it
at your
like with
parents'.
me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a good lineup right there. Um, so I wish I still had an N64. That was technically my dad's from Japan. Um, I'm sure he must have sold it when we moved to the States or something. But the ones that I have are um the oldest one is probably I have my Japanese PS2 that I used to play Kingdom Hearts every now and then. I have a PSP that I bought here. I have a PS Vita that I bought in Japan last year. I have a GameCube. I have a Wii U. I have a PS3, PS4 Pro, Xbox One S, and then Nintendo Switch and 3DS. Um, oh, and then my wife has a DSi. I think that's everything. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we have to talk about your GameCube though, because you don't have just any old GameCube.
Dude, I've got the Spice GameCube. I've got the orange Spice GameCube. I didn't realize how much of a rarity that was. Those were, I don't want to say like super common, but like they're around in Japan, you know? But then I brought it over here and like nobody has a Spice GameCube. And
No.
yeah, so
Yours
it's pretty cool. I like it.
yours is the only GameCube that I've seen that isn't purple. I've never seen any other format of GameCube that is not just the classic purple. So,
Really.
mhm.
In Japan, there were a lot of silvers. Obviously, a lot of purples. Yeah, purple, silvers, blue. Well, no, I don't think there was a blue. I don't remember. But yeah, good
When
question.
when you got your GameCube, did you choose the orange specifically, or was it gifted to you as the orange one?
I believe my dad bought it for me for Christmas or something one year. Yeah. So I don't think I chose that color, but I'm so glad that it is that color. That GameCube has actually been through a lot. It broke one time. After we moved to the States, it stopped working. Um, the it wouldn't take any input from the controller ports. And dude, I was so proud of myself. I was like I think I was in eighth grade. Um, our uncle, Seth, he gave me his old GameCube because he didn't need it anymore or use it anymore.
Hmm.
And it was a purple GameCube. And I took that GameCube apart by myself, took out the board where the controller ports are attached, replaced it
Mm,
with the one in the Japanese one, and then now it works again.
there you go.
That was like one of my first DIY little handy projects.
There you go.
But
And I just looked it up as well. There was a black GameCube as well. I've seen
oh yeah, yeah,
images
I've
of
seen
those,
black.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good question. That
That's a fun one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it leads really well into our main topic of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just as a preface for all of y'all, we know a lot about Nintendo. I am new to the PlayStation scene, but very, very much into it and loving it. It's the reason why I bought a PS5. Neither of us currently owns an Xbox, but have both owned Xboxes in the past. So I feel like we can give some good knowledge on that. And then, of course, we have our resident member of the PC Master Race who's going to talk about why, in the end, consoles, don't matter because everyone should just get a PC instead. So, where do you want to start?
So
We go ahead.
let's go through um so we're talking about the different online like subscriptions and the perks and stuff, right? So I've got this article pulled up here by Wired, and maybe we can kind of go through, explain what each thing does. I think everybody here knows that, they all play video games. They're all honestly good at the end of the day. But some of these subscriptions, there are some big differences here. So, um, we're gonna start on the PlayStation side of things while I make sure that the bird doesn't knock over the camera. So for PS4, PS5, you have three membership tiers. You got the PlayStation Plus Essential, which is for $10 a month or $80 a year. By the way, $80 a year, that's a pretty good discount you get by paying annually. It just gives you access to online multiplayer. That's pretty much it. So, um, back in the day, back in the PS3 day, that functionality was free. I never had to pay $1 to play with my friends on PS3. You can go up a tier to PlayStation Plus Extra, which is $15 a month or $135 per year. You get everything in the essential tier and also a catalog of 400 of, quote, the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. I honestly have no idea how good those games are, but some of the games listed here, like Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Returnal, so it seems pretty all right. I don't know. Um, and then we go up to PlayStation Plus Premium, which is $18 a month or $160 per year. It also gives you an additional 340 games. Basically just more access to games. So, um, yeah, Alex, do you want to explain the Xbox ones
Yeah,
while I put the bird away?
yeah.
She is going crazy over here.
No worries. So you have again with Microsoft, you have three different tiers. You have your Game Pass Core, which they also call just Xbox Live Gold. Then you have Game Pass. Then you have Game Pass Ultimate. Um, your Game Pass Core is similar to PlayStation's that just allows you to play online. And then it says here that they've also got a 25 game library um, that you get access to. Um, and then you have Game Pass, and you can either choose to have that just for console or for PC.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know you get 25 games as a part of Xbox Live Gold or
yeah.
the Game Pass Core or whatever.
And so for Game Pass, you get access to 300 games that kind of rotate in and out, um, depending on a variety of factors. And then you have Game Pass Ultimate, um, which is going to be $17 per month. And it lets you play everything and it gives you access to it on both console and PC. So you don't have to choose just one. If you have both, Game Pass Ultimate is definitely the way to go just because you have access to it on both. Um, and that seems to be the only difference. Like the base Game Pass gives you the same access to games. You're just console or PC locked, whereas Ultimate gives it on both. And I guess it also says here that you get the EA Play libraries. I don't really know if that's just the EA Sports library or if there's anything else. But that is kind of the overview for Microsoft. And our Zoom session is about to run out. Yeah,
Oh,
let's.
A few moments later.
okay, we're back. So I just want to say that I like your little, I like the Game Pass Ultimate, like being able to play, like it gives you that cloud streaming service. That is a pretty big plus, I think. I don't really know how the latency is or anything, but I think generally like I hear positive things about that you can like stream games to your PC, Xbox,. Or like your phone. Um, Not that I'd recommend playing on your phone without buttons, but pretty cool. Um, let's see. Okay, on to Nintendo subscriptions. This one I am a bit more familiar with. So, in order to play multiplayer online, you can pay either $4 a month or $8 quarterly or $20 per year. That's for individual membership or $35 per year for family membership. And that also gets you access to play NES and SNES games, which has a pretty decent library of good games on there. I have played a few of those myself. And if you get the expansion pack along with that, that is $50 a year for an individual or $80 per year for family membership. And it also gives you access to N64 games. And GBA is in there too, isn't it?
Hmm.
Right? Yeah, I don't know why it's not mentioned here. Oh, and also Sega Genesis games. Oh, and it also gives you like free access to certain DLC, like the Animal Crossing DLC. You'd get it for free if you had the expansion pack. I think it's also the same thing for like Mario Kart as well. So there are some few extra perks. Now, there you have it. Those are the different tiers for each console. Um, Thoughts? How's it been on PlayStation? I'm guessing you probably don't even have one any of these.
I don't have a single one of them. Um, so so PlayStation Plus is a little bit of a meme. Um, so I think something that we forgot to mention when we were talking about PlayStation Essential, once a
Hmm.
month, you're gifted 3 games. You're gifted a PS5 game and you're gifted 2 PlayStation 4 games that you get as long as you're subscribed. Um, but from what I understand, they're not like the first party, cream of the crop games. Like they're games that
Bottom of the barrel.
you'd only get because you have PlayStation Essential.
Mm,
Um, Now the next tier up is nice. It's decent. But again, like nothing crazy just because the library's not crazy big. Now, PlayStation Essential, I've heard very, very mixed things on. Some people love it because it gives you access to PS3 and PS2 games, which is really big
uh-huh.
for people. But then other people said, yes, but if you already own those games, like there's no reason to have PlayStation Essential because before the days of subscriptions and services and stuff, you would just buy games and you can still just plug in your old system and play them.
Yeah.
Um, and personally, the reason that I don't have any of these subscriptions is because I am very big on physical ownership. Um, I don't like downloading games. I don't like not having the physical disc. Um, I think we've talked on the podcast about our concerns about ownership and digitalizing everything before.
Hmm.
So I don't want to repeat too much of what I've said, but if I'm going to be playing games and I want to own all the games that I play anyway, there's no reason for me to pay for this subscription service because I'm going to buy them anyway. So I
Yeah,
feel
right,
like it would
right.
kind of work as a nice like vetting process of like treating them kind of like extended demos. But even then, it's not enough to entice me to play them, and I don't have as much time. It's video games are not my only hobby, and so it's hard for me to want to pay for subscriptions for anything. And so having a subscription for a hobby that doesn't get as much time as I would like, it's hard for me to justify the price, knowing that most of my video game budget is going to go towards just buying games to own anyway.
Yeah, you're never gonna have the time to actually play through all the games that's in the library.
No,
Nor would you really probably want to, right? Because you're gonna
and
buy the games you want anyway.
PlayStation's not as good as Microsoft on giving like day one accesses to exclusives.
Hmm.
Like, say what you will about Starfield. A lot of people have a lot of feelings about that game. Um, Game Pass day one. PlayStation doesn't do that with any of their stuff.
Yeah.
It takes like 6 months for PlayStation exclusives to be put on this service.
Yep. Yep.
So for PlayStation, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like just buy the games, or you have to wait a really long time to play them. So
Yeah, I honestly think that if you're on PlayStation, the like just the essential. Like if you want to play online with friends, just get the essential. And I wouldn't bother with the other ones because of everything that you just stated. But I guess one way that it might make sense is if you know that a lot of games you're interested in are in that catalog and you just kind of want to like try out a bunch of them. Like then maybe you just play for like plus essential or plus extra for like a month or two, try out the games, and then you could just like cancel it later, you know. It's not a lot of commitment to like try out a bunch of games that otherwise might add up to be pretty expensive. Um, so okay, let me talk about Xbox here because I think this is one thing that Microsoft does really well is they're very like inclusive in a lot of ways. Um, One, you have like several hardware options of playing. Like one, if you're gonna do like the cloud gaming thing, you can play it on so many different devices. And if you get Game Pass Ultimate, you have access to like all of those games on PC and console. So that flexibility is pretty great. And like you said, like I think, you know, like games like Halo Infinite and Starfield, like those were day one Game Pass games. So like you actually have a pretty good incentive of subscribing for Game Pass. Um, Either Game Pass for console or PC or Ultimate, if you know that like a lot of the upcoming titles you're gonna want to play anyway. And they have like from what I can see, like pretty decent games on Game Pass. You know, they're not as nearly as stingy as Sony is.
No, Game
Um,
Pass's library is pretty impressive. And every
yeah.
once in a while they'll take a game off that people will get pretty upset about. But there's usually always like a pretty good replacement for it.
Yeah.
The quality of Game Pass stays pretty consistent despite that rotating schedule. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're playing new games all the time and stuff and you know that those games are in the Game Pass library, I think this is the one that makes the most sense in terms of like a subscription and like getting access to games through a subscription. It's like really good. I wouldn't do it because the games that I want to play aren't on there and I'm like you, I like to just buy what I want to play and own it. But this one makes a lot of sense and it's really good. Um, Now on to Nintendo. Have you done anything on there? Probably not, right? Yeah. So I'll talk about this one too then. It's first of all, it's really, really affordable. I really appreciate it. Like, I mean, think about it. To get access to online multiplayer, it's $20 a year. I mean,
Right.
come on. That's so cheap.
That's a month of those other premium services, which if you're
Yeah.
getting the PlayStation or the Xbox ones, you should probably be getting the highest tier. And yeah, you get yeah. Sorry, keep going.
It's no, you're good. It's so good. And the family membership, like $35 for family membership. I've done this to give access to two of my family members. So um, like I pay 30, oh, I have been paying $35 a year just because it's like so cheap. And I knew some people in my family that wanted to play online. So I just went under my Nintendo account, I added them as family members, and they had access, you know? It's like, and I think you can add up to I don't remember what it is, like five or eight. Oh, here it is. A family membership covers up to eight separate accounts, right? So like you could technically family up with your friends and all pitch in to pay what, $35 a year, and then you get access to like all of the online functionality in every single game, and then more than 100 classic NES and SNES titles. I mean that alone is, I think, really good value. Um, The expansion pack, you know, if you pay a little bit more, it's $50 per person or $80 for family membership. Um, in my mind, like this isn't for me because although there are like really good N64 games on there, like the N64 Zelda games and stuff, um, I have other means of playing it. I'd probably just play it on my PC, so it wouldn't be for me. But I know a few people that do that and play those games to get that extra access, and they have a good time. I know people that are playing those older, like really classic N64 titles for the very first time because of the expansion pack. So, like, I like that it's just an optional add-on if you want to. Um, and the price seems reasonable enough. So I think can we all agree that like PlayStation has the worst offerings for what you get?
For the subscription service, PlayStation is very much not not
Yeah.
doing it very well.
But honestly, like you go to PlayStation for those iconic single player titles anyway, right? Like that's I think where their strengths are.
Right.
So most people on PlayStation probably don't even need it unless you've got like Call of Duty you want to play online or something. But Nintendo is behind, I'll be honest. Like they don't have a lot of like oh, can I just say cloud saves? Like you don't get cloud saves. Well, first, just to make sure everybody understands, so like when you save your game, right? Like that game data is like saved on your console. So if your console ever breaks, you lose access to that. Unless you have cloud saves where um if it's like Nintendo, you would upload it uploads your save data every time you quit your game, so that if your console breaks, you get a new Switch. You can just download that save file and then you're like good to go. You don't lose any of your stuff. Um, PlayStation, you need at least the essential subscription to get cloud saves. But I believe it lets you save on a flash drive. Like you can export saves to a flash drive. So like, okay, bare minimum, at least you have the flexibility of doing that. Xbox is free, I believe. Cloud saves are free from what I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Nintendo, you do not get cloud saves unless you are subscribed to their online services. And you don't have the option that Sony gives you to like back stuff up on your flash drive. So you're out of luck if you don't have a subscription and your console dies. Mine actually expired like last week, so but yeah.
Rip.
I think that should be free. I don't know. Or at least like I like that Sony gives you the option to just back it up on a flash drive, but I don't know. Any other thoughts on these?
Um, no, I mean, like I said, I don't have any of them because it's not for me. I just don't game enough to justify
Yeah.
even with Nintendo just being like the price of a game a year. Um, I could imagine myself getting it and like playing those N64 games because I got memories of it. I got memories of Smash 64, Mario 64, the
Yeah.
Zeldas, Star Fox 64. Like I could very, very easily download it, but like after like a weekend, like I would cruise through everything that I want because I wouldn't really like want to play any of those games to completion.
Yeah, right.
Um, so as affordable as a lot of these seem, I think it's affordable for people that are able to, you know, consistently play video games as much as they want. And if that's not an option for you, these subscription services really shouldn't. I don't think you should have them because I don't think it makes fiscal sense personally. But
Yeah. No, I agree. Honestly, I think given what we've talked about, you kind of know what you're looking for, like uh, um the only one in my mind that makes sense to get like a lot of access to new games and stuff. That's gonna be your Game Pass. That's just, that's the only one that really makes sense. If you want the classic titles, I guess you could get the expansion pack for Nintendo. Especially if it's like your first time playing, it honestly wouldn't be bad to just like pay for a few months, play through it, and then cancel it. That's the thing that I think like everyone should remember is that like all these like you can cancel at any time and you can pay them monthly. So like it'd be pretty smart actually, if you get a new console or something or you want to just try out a bunch of games to just pay for 1 month only, don't renew it and then just play through a bunch of games and you're like, "Oh, I know that I love this game and this game and that game." And then just buy those games and then cancel the subscription. Um, but I do want to mention that I think as behind as Nintendo is in a lot of technology things like cloud saves, um, just one more rant. Like some of their games like don't support cloud saves. Like Animal Crossing, I think, unless they've like fixed it, Animal Crossing doesn't support cloud saves. Isn't that crazy? Because that's one of the games that people dump hundreds and hundreds of hours into, and that is like one of the ones that you'd want like cloud saves for. But Nintendo has innovated a lot, like with their online games, with like games like Tetris 99, um, like the Mario Bros. One, Pac-Man 99, F-Zero 99, where you're competing against 99 other people. You've probably seen some of the commercials and stuff for it. Um, it's not my cup of tea because like I just don't like a lot of online competition, but it's really cool. It's really, really cool. Um, and a lot of people are sad when those get taken down because they're usually timed exclusives, and Japan
Mm.
likes their timed exclusives. Um, so yeah, I appreciate the effort that they've like put into there. And also they add like online functionality to a lot of their older games. So like the games that are in the classic library, like NES, SNES, GBA, N64, a lot of the games they'll rework so that it has online functionality so you can play with friends across the internet, um, which is cool.
Yeah.
So now let me tell you about why PC is great. You don't pay for anything. It's free, dude. Free. I just pay my monthly internet bill and I don't have to pay anyone else to play my games online. It is
What's
totally free
what's the entry fee?
to PC gaming.
Come on, tell them. Tell them what it is.
You mean what was my entry fee?
If you want to share that, or if you want to share an average, or whatever you're comfortable sharing, come on, let them know.
Now, my PC, um, I won't state all the specs and stuff because it'll bore you guys and you probably won't even know what it is. But it's about a $2,000 system. Granted, this was like at the height of the chip supply shortage and stuff. I did get some pretty good deals on them, but you could probably build my system for cheaper than that today. Um, but you could get a really good, solid PC that can compete with modern consoles. I'd say $1,000. You could even go under a little bit and get a solid system today. Um, but yes, I will admit that is the most expensive part, right? And you've got to get a monitor, keyboard, mouse, all your peripherals and stuff. So the freedom is at a cost, but I can also work on here. I edit on here. This podcast could not be a thing if it weren't for my PC, if we're being honest here. Actually, your laptop could probably edit this stuff. Um, but I can do everything on here. It's great. And when I feel like it, you can upgrade parts. There's no generational gaps. The Steam library is so freaking good. Oh my goodness. Steam is like amazing. just imagine like, okay, like we're like Nintendo fans here, right? Imagine if like the like all N64 games just worked on the Switch like natively. They just work. There's like no backwards compatibility issues like ever. Like every single game always just persists and exists. There's no generational gaps. Um, and Steam has free cloud saves. I don't pay Steam anything. I get cloud saves. I can play a game on my PC. I leave my house. I can pick it right back where I left off on my Steam Deck. It's a beautiful thing. But I understand it's not for everybody. And it is the highest cost in terms of barriers of entry into the space. But it is the master race.
Well, there you go. Tax refund season is ending, everyone, and I know that all of you are going to buy a PC now. So congrats on your new purchase. That's amazing. Um, do we have anything else for today's episode?
Um, just a little teaser. I've been playing through a game called Tales of Arise. It's really, really good. It was recommended to me by Mr. Zaruma himself, Jay Maurer, aka Big Bear. Um,
He's got a lot of names on this channel.
yeah, he does. Who does he think he is? My gosh. But it's been fun, so look that up if you're interested. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I want to do an official review eventually. Cool JRGB. I just said JRGB. JRPG. Thanks. I would just like to formally apologize. This is SJ. As I'm editing this, I realized that we did not credit our beautiful, beautiful, most beloved Patreon supporters. So here we go. We have Zaruma, uh, aka Big Bear, whatever he wants to be called by. We have Nicholas. We have Grandpappy. We have Tyler. And then we also have Joshua. Thank you to all of you. And now back to the end of the episode. See you guys. Bye.
Nice.